Alright, well, it's looking up. Got the floor pan laid in. And I probably should have taken a video before I laid the floor pan in. But I gotta do some research. These torque box tops, I don't know if anybody can give some info on those. They're Dynacorns. Surprisingly, these pieces came with the rear frame rails. They don't sit flush that well with the frame rails themselves, more or less the frame rails and the car. Like where the curvature is back here, if you get that halfway seated, these flanges don't sit worth a damn. So I don't know if I'm just supposed to hammer the shit out of them, clamp them and weld them, or if there's some special trick to it or what. But if somebody has some info, feel free. Also, of course, I'm mini tubbed, so this was fun fitting. I thought I did my decent measurements, but apparently not, since I left a huge ass gap. So now, luckily, I flanged it underneath so I can bend that back out, and I'll have to just weld a flange on. I have a question though. Anybody else have a floor with, that much of a gap? Doesn't seem normal. I mean, this is the factory flange, which granted, this should be the stock or the factory lip for the rear rocker. So even though I'm mini tub, even if it was the stock wheel wells, this should meet somewhat decent. But what's weird is this flange is, I don't know if you can see that, but my finger can fit in there. It's a good 1/4 to 1/2 inch there. There to give you an idea. That is a big gap. It's only on that side. This side seems to fit pretty well. I don't know if you can see that little bit of a gap there, but that's pretty close. The back part, of course, not so much. It's a little bit better, but there's still a good gap here, and a gap here. I'm gonna have to do the same thing with the flanges, obviously. But same thing. This sucker is way worse than the other one. Like the curvature over here doesn't even come close to matching up with the frame. And this, you can somewhat get it to where it'll flange up, but it's gonna require quite a bit of massaging to make it happen. Granted, I know I still have this piece of angle iron that the floor's sitting on, so it's not sitting all the way down. Maybe this gap will tighten up a little bit, doubtful, but regardless, like I said, what worries me is that gap over there for that flange, where this one has like none. So it's like this side's well fit. And I took measurements. I don't know if anybody else has a 68 coupe, they can give me measurements, but I have a sheet I was going off of, and I took my own measurements and wrote down before I started all this to get my my cross from my rocker to rocker. Back here, this lip, or this rocker lip, to the other side is 55.5 inches, and it starts scaling down. I want to say right here at the door is about 55.25 maybe, and then right about here it is like dead at 55, and then at the front here it is 54.75, which according to my printout is all correct. So my distance across from the rockers and frames should be good. I've got this angle iron underneath the car, and this little angle iron here that was welded. And of course, underneath, when I did the frame rails, I put this 2x in here that was cut to length to keep my center hole measurement dead on, and I'll put a clamp strap on to keep this 2x pinched and to keep these measurements dead on. So that is accurate. Also, my rear holes for my frame rails are accurate for measurements. So unless this floor pan is just oddly formed and it just needs that much adjustment, then I don't know what the deal is. other than maybe somehow the car's a little twisted. I have no clue. But if anybody can provide some input, I'm happy to listen. From everyone I've seen that just done these floor pans, they're pretty much spot on fitment. I want to say this was a Scott Drake floor. I mean, obviously they're not a provider, or they don't make the part, they just resell it. But here's the part number. Maybe it'll focus. There it is. Yeah. So anyways, that's the floor pan. I don't know who actually makes the pan. It's probably a Taiwanese or whatever. Got this nice little crinkle in the middle. Poor forming, I guess. But overall, it seems to be decent. The sides fit perfect, pretty much. All the way down on both sides. Like I said, it's just this rear section. But, until next time, guys, thanks for watching.